Hello, and welcome to Gothic Reviews. Today, we review the Jafar action figure and the other Jafar action figure.
That would be from Mattel and McDonald's, respectively. And I must say, I've always enjoyed the old fairy tales, but I got a lot more into Jafar after the Wonderland spin-off from Once Upon a Time. And it only lasted one season, but if you guys are into Alice in Wonderland at all, watch the Wonderland spin-off from, was it ABC, CW?
I think it was ABC.
Yeah, okay. And it's really good. I mean, it's just, and then they bring Jafar into Once Upon a Time later. So if you guys watch that series too and you didn't see the spinoff, you get a lot more into Jafar's character if you watch the Wonderland spinoff, and it was brilliant. He's probably my favorite TV villain. Rumpelstiltskin is awesome and I love him, but Jafar is like the scariest. Like, I would be friends with Rumpel. I would not hang out with Jafar because he's scary.
That series showed well his personality too. It explains, some would call it the unusual cruelty of Jafar that he's famous for, but it explains what made him the way he is really well. Like, it makes it perfect sense, where several villains are not explained quite well, but Jafar is fully articulated there.
Yeah, and a lot of times, even when the villain isn't explained, like, you hear their reason, you're like, okay, that's cool, but that still isn't a good enough reason to be like a jerk like you are. And his was pretty interesting. I still don't know that I sympathize as much, but because he's still like a cold, hard mofo. But yeah, it was really good development.
And of course we know Jafar from Arabian Tales and Aladdin specifically, but in the original, Jafar was not even present as a name. He was just an unnamed wizard from Agrabah, which was a Moroccan town famous for its ghouls and other manifestations of the dark forces. But the name was not given until much later by Disney Corporation. The name was chosen very interestingly, actually, because Jafar gives rise to the name we all know and some of us love. It's Jeffrey. They derive from the exact same root, and it's supposed to mean God's peace. And it's very interesting because the Knights Templars who conquered the Holy Land, they probably spread that name around. They brought it from the Arabic land. So whoever named him probably knew their stuff really well, because it is an Arabic name and it is very suitable for somebody like him because it's so ironic in its character. And of course the toy is very well developed.
I used to like the smaller one, and then we found the bigger one, and I'm like, oh, this is even cooler. And sometimes bigger isn't always better, and the detail is just as good in the smaller ones, and they can be more portable and compact, but I like the bigger one, and I don't even know if I would keep the smaller one if it didn't have the bird. Love birds, and he's got the bird, so I don't know why they didn't give the big one the bird. We're giving the big one, he's holding Tila's staff from He-Man, the vintage Tila that we have, just because we got Jafar used and he didn't come with accessories, so like, let's let him have Tila's staff. He can use it for now.
It just looks so appropriate.
Yes. So which figure would you like to work with first?
Well, I guess we can start with the small one. It's very interesting how, like, such detail is packed into it.
No articulation. There's a button on his back that just squeaks now, so we decided it's the bird talking, but I'm sure it used to have something light up, or maybe his staff eyes here lit up or something. I'm just guessing, but it doesn't now because we got it used. But I do like the detailing on the staff's head and, of course, the bird. But there you go, Gomez. He doesn't have any articulation, but he's made well. So anything you want to comment with him? That's all I had.
I like the fact that they gave him a bird, because many Arabian tales and those that were their precursors in the Persian literature, they showcase those caves of treasure where treasure is buried, and we in modern terms think of treasure with parrots and stuff, because parrots was pirates. Yeah, so I think I like that touch. I think that was a good development that they gave him. And I also like his facial features, where he is somber without being directly diabolical looking. And they really gave him a good color scheme. It's all black and red, his cloak is black, His little turban is black also with some red peeking through it, and it matches the color of the parrot on him too, so I really like that arrangement. And he is small, and usually enough of the times we go for bigger ones, but he still has enough detail to be recognized as who he is. And the staff is also interesting. I think that kind of a type of a staff with the snake head, it would be a later innovation, possibly borrowed by the Arabic world from the Greek conquest of Alexander the Great, of all of those areas, because their own gods, even in pre-Islamic types and their folklore, they saw the snake as a more benign source and of healing, and not so much of sorcery. At least I didn't find many traces of them in folklore. So I think that is a modern innovation that still seems to match Jafar's own characteristics, and are also well explained in the series we mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, the snake gets a lot of attention in the Wonderland series.
Yes. And that's all I had to say about the smaller one. The big one is really impressive.
I know, I just love him. First I want to cover the articulation. And the cape, he's a general hard plastic, material. He doesn't want to hold Tila's stuff. And the cape is like a more flexible plastic. It does not come off, which is fine. His outfit is good. The hand action comes from this little button in the back, and it just makes his hand move. So I guess if he had a staff that did not keep falling out, since Tila's isn't truly his, he could wave it in a sorcerer-like way. Just imagine he's got his staff and he's okay. And you can put his hands down like this. They come up in a gesturing type thing where he can look all grand and sweeping, and they can go like this, like if he's gonna sort of kind of put his hands on his hips, which doesn't look as good because they don't really do it. So I would say they just go up, out. That looks kind of cool. Or down. I like them just sort of kind of chilling and resting them. There you go. Jafar, you're fine. And then his little, I love these pointed boots, whether they're witchy, wizardly, whatever. He's got his witchy boots. And it's just one sticking out here, but I love it, and you can see it nicely. And inside, he's just hollow. His soul is hollow as his robe.
His dark heart.
His dark heart. And I like this shoulder, I don't know if they're called epaulets or something else, but...
Yeah, that looks like an epaulet.
Yeah, those. And I like the flaring robe and the cloak, and I just... Like, it just, all the details stand out more on the bigger one, I guess. And there are smaller figures that I think are really just as detailed, but this specific case, I like the bigger Jafar. This one is a 5-inch, and I kept thinking it was a 6 or 7-inch because it just looks so much taller than it is until I held it against my Lily Munster action figure and went, oh, okay, well, she's a lot taller than he is. Okay. Because she's who I was using to measure him. But yeah, he's like a 5-inch from Mattel. So we have the two M's, McDonald's and Mattel. And he's apparently more rare, and I love the fact that we found him for like $1. I love it when I find rare stuff for like very low prices.
He is supposed to be a battle action figure, and he does seem to be almost stuck in that battle position, so it's like matching the title. And I also like that maybe diadem looking thing on his head.
Oh, his turban, isn't it?
Yeah, it's turban, but it also has some kind of gems encrusted into it.
It's the fancy version of the turban.
Yeah, it's like...
It's the dress-up version where the other one's wearing the more casual turban. This one's like diadem dress-up turban.
Yeah.
This is business turban.
Yeah.
Not screwing around today, kiddies.
Yeah, it's like really well developed.
If I had to wear a turban, I would want that one. I mean, I'm not really a turban gal.
Nor am I, but yes,
I don't think you're any kind of gal that I'm aware of. If you are, we have a problem. A serious problem.
Jafar knows how to solve all problems.
Well, let's just decide we don't have one then.
Yes. But yeah, I really like how they developed him. And it's kind of funny because most of the characters in Arabian tales, they are sort of shown to us in reverse. Like Jafar himself was likely based on one of the more enlightened viziers of the enlightened Arabic times, where the great caliph that everybody learns to respect in Arabian Nights, Harun al-Rashid, is actually supposed to be a despot based on historical evidence, and like a really cruel barbarian that tolerated no like popular opposition. But still, the way they designed it, the way they translated the tales and adapted it to modern conditions and created for us that image of Arabic life, it's really mesmerizing, and I think Jafar represents it, almost one of the best characters to represent it so well. It's that image, true or not, but it's just beautiful. And I think he also makes one of the more like one of the better Gothic villains, of course. So
oh yeah, he's got the red and black going on.
yeah. So I don't think we could be more pleased with a figure like that.
You know, this example, especially the Mattel, but I love them both, just showed me how like bad to the bone Disney can be sometimes, because I just so never even paid attention to Disney until I started seeing random action figures like this and went, that's pretty awesome. And then like, that's Disney, okay. And everybody's probably going like, you don't watch Disney? I'm Morticia. Of course not.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the second time that I meet a villain developed so well. The other one was, of course, Rasputin that I reviewed in another video, but it's just amazing that Disney develops their villains so very well. I would say far better than their good guys. At least, like, from the artistic perspective, their colors are just striking.
I would mention the Beast that we also reviewed, but I don't want to set Darling Wednesday off again.
Oh, yes, I still owe her that tale.
Yes.
For those of you who want to understand the reference, watch our previous video where we discuss Poor Wednesday being read.
It's the Beauty and the Beast. It's the Beast review that we did from Burger King.
Yes. So
he's beautiful. So beautiful.
So beautiful.
So majestic.
He should really inspire me for like one of those good tales, but I'm still thinking percolating.
You're just being lazy, Gomez.
Oh, naturally. I make it my specialty and make it look beautiful so that people are inspired.
He does. Artistically lazy.
I call it bohemian style.
That's like when he lies his jewelry all over the place and makes me pick it up and put it away. He doesn't make me, it just doesn't get done. But I guess it looks really pretty, scattered everywhere.
Yes, it's a random arrangement of artistic art nouveau.
Like, I take it you're finished wearing this right now. Like, yeah, so I'll just put it away because it's bothering me.
So overall, I rather like how Disney made it. I like how Jafar represents that culture that we learn from Arabian Nights. And whenever I think of an Arabic wizard, I think of him specifically more than anybody else, even though like his name was not even mentioned originally in the Chronicles. Still, that's how entrenched he became. So the figure is developed really well to represent that kind of reality, magical and fantastical and gothic at the same time.
And I like those characters that don't seem to be focused on as hard as others, and then they become like more centralized later, like where he didn't even have a name at first. Like, I like that.
Yeah. And the translators did a really good job to show us.
It tantalizes the imagination when you just get a glimpse of a really interesting character. You're like, okay, let's find out more about this person.
Yeah. So, I think that's all we have for now for the Jafar action figures from Mattel and McDonald's.
I definitely recommend them both, but this taller one, the 5-inch from Mattel, is definitely just a striking decor piece. If you don't even care about Jafar, he just looks awesome, which is why I got him in the first place. That's why I get a lot of the figures that we have. Just, that looks cool. We need this just to sit there and look awesome. Add its awesomeness to the room. And so I'm sure eventually there could be a decent price on eBay. How much was he being sold for? Did you notice?
One of the versions was $14.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, for such an impressive figure, I would call it a deal.
So yeah, it's reasonable. I mean, you know, we were lucky and got him at a flea market or whatever for $1, and that's nice. If you can find him, grab him. If not, $14 isn't too bad for eBay. So he is on eBay waiting for you. Until then, have a dark day.